Hello, and welcome back to the next episode in our Pillars of Eternity campaign, playing as Kasemir the Cipher. So we're going to pick up from where we left off in the last episode. We're currently on level 1 of the Endless Paths of Odnua, the dungeons beneath Cardnua. Presumably there's more levels than just one. But we have cleared out this level pretty much in its entirety. We killed the Spider Queen over here in the last episode, and every other mob, which consisted of Zorips, beetles, and spiders. The beetles were particularly tough, because they have quite high armor. We can't get through this door here at the moment. There's some ephemeral spirit shield or something blocking it, so yeah, we can't get there, but we are down here in any event to speak to the Watcher Maerwald, who is in this room here. And there's two ways of getting in. We can go in through the front door here, or we can sneak in through this back entrance, which we've discovered with a hidden plate on the ground there. But before we do that, we should probably rest up and you know, get our health back here, because
Yes?
Kana is on 6 health, so he is going to get knocked out pretty quickly and maimed. And Adair, more importantly, is on 1 health and is already maimed, so if he gets knocked out again, in combat he will just die. So, yeah, we should rest. Before I do that, though, I do want to speak to Durance to see if he has anything else to say.
If doubts and curiosity plague you, you're skidding your knuckles on the wrong door.
Tell me more about you, Durance. Alright, tell me more about Ashfall. Durance raises an eyebrow, then snorts. The amount you ask, you'd think you miss it more than I. Ashfall's stockpile of guns, explosives, and alchemical fire sounds dangerous. Life is dangerous. You would know more than most, Durance grunts. Flame is always hungry, and if you don't respect it, its kisses will fire your loins like a Defiance Bay copper corner whore. Durance closes his eyes for a moment, as if thinking back. Some chambers were consumed, some destroyed, but Ashfall remains. Would be good to see it one day, if I return. He shrugs. I doubt I shall. Why is that? Durance's eyes open and he glares at you. Because home is a mess of disappointments. That's why. Never make a place your home, Watcher. That's my advice to you. Keep to the road. A home is a curse. It'll kill you to stay. And the moment your foot exits its door, it'll never again measure up to the cathedral in your head. Durance grunts, his hand tightening on his staff. You notice Adair has been listening. He speaks under his breath. Don't know if the problem is so much a cathedral in his head as bats in his bell tower. Sure am sad, though, that I missed the party they must have thrown as soon as he'd left. Now that's a disappointment. Is that why you wonder, Durance? I'd expect you to understand, Watcher. You don't seem to value whatever home you are from either, and you are likely a stronger person for it. So if you ask the why of it, Watcher, the why that one doesn't need a cathedral to uphold the faith or remind one of it, I don't hate it, I don't despise it, I'm not some weeping cast-out fool. I wonder because of my faith, and to spread it, he grunts. And I have many tens of years to go before Durance's trials let me go. And I'll never get there while I'm bantering words with you. But then who's more the fool? The fool who asks, or the one who answers? He snorts. I tire of your wordplay. Let's do something. Can you tell me of the War of Black Trees? Well now. Durance scratches at a pox scar on his cheek, although his other hand remains tight on the staff. It was many tens of years ago. Fire swept through the woods. A fiery harvest, a sign from Magran. Her fingers lay upon the scape there, like nail marks across a man's back. Durance's hand falls from his cheek and joins his other hand tight on the staff. The forest has never regrown. No seed was laid beyond her sanctifying the ground. The blackened trees still remain, like black hands reaching from the ground. He chuckles. It's more romantic than I make it, Watcher. It still bears a woman's touch, after all. Alright, I want to ask about something different.
I suspect the answers will seed more questions.
Anything else you can tell me about Magrin? No, okay. What about the region and its history? No, we've done all of that. Oh, I still have plenty of more to ask about this. Tell me about this staff of yours. Durance glances at his staff, then at you, and gives a crooked smile. Can't take your eyes from it, he chuckles. Durance himself favored such knotted twists of heat. It was said, no shame in it. Why are those symbols carved on your staff?
Carved? This staff is a history. Acts leave their mark. Some symbols fall into the ash, others blaze brighter.
Durance scoffs, then his voice settles with an almost proud strength. Well, what causes one to fade and another to rise?
Memory. Meaning. It's same as the memories in your head, perhaps more trustworthy. Random acts, things done with instinct. They may make lines, burning briefly through the wood. Acts devised, planned, that stay with you. Symbols form, and tell the story.
Durance snorts, seemingly at himself.
It's like all memories, except the staff burns it true. When a thought's close, you see it clearer, brighter. Ones you forget, they get buried. But like rings in wood, the etchings remain. Keeps me grounded. Also, it's a solid walking stick.
He grunts, and his face relaxes into a grin. How is it only watchers can see the symbols? They are energies of the spirit, a channel for one's faith. He frowns. It's hard to say. There was a time when they glowed brighter, but now they are an aid in my work. Because the staff's markings stand out to a watcher, well, they sometimes identify themselves. He frowns. And sometimes they're blinded to the staff as well. A gift of Magrin, perhaps, to cloak itself from sight when one isn't looking. Or looking for it. Well, I don't see Magrin's symbol on your staff anywhere. Durance frowns. It is there, but marked different. I follow Durance, and in his teachings there is but a single flame, a simpler aspect. His frown deepens, and he taps the edge of the staff. Durance would meditate by focusing on a single flame, and attach meaning to it. It was something to center the spirit for what was to come. What do you mean for what was to come? The flame is intended to symbolize bringing punishment to another, and it is inscribed above the symbol of the one being punished, marking them as always touched by Magrin. Alright, let's continue. Well, actually, I'll ask you about something else.
I suspect the...
Tell me more about Ashfall. It's as if you swallowed a gadfly nest. Keep silent and keep them to yourself, lest you tire yourself before the next campfire. Alright, well, we have to rest here anyway, so we can continue that conversation momentarily. Give everyone damage reduction. I'll just do a cheeky quick save.
What?
Let's continue, Durance.
If doubts and curiosity plague...
I want to know more about Ashfall. Durance shrugs. Not the prettiest of places. He grins and scratches at a pox scar. But then again, neither are Magrin's faithful. Yeah, I think we've asked some of this, but maybe there's some divergent paths. Tell me about Ashfall. What more to tell? Durance frowns, his hand tightening on his staff again, his fingers seeming to sink into the wood. It is one of the greatest fires of Magran, the High Seat. He shrugs. Some say the blackest, not of evil, but of ash, all that remains after fire has fed. He pauses. I called it a cathedral before. That's not the full truth of it. Okay. I think we've already done that one. What's the cathedral like? And we've read that. Okay. The staff of yours seems like your holy symbol, and then I'll ask about the etchings.
This? In a way. The wood is taken from the...
Alright, no, okay. We've, you know what, actually, because we'd already asked all of those things, that I thought there was, we'll just reload. I thought there was one that had a divergent path. Maybe I'm misremembering, or maybe we already did it. Let me just check. Tell me more about Ashfall. Yeah, tell me about the etchings.
Reminders. I find...
That's funny. Aloth yawns. If only he tired of the spoken word so quickly.
The War of Black Trees and this staff I carry are the only hymns and devotions I need. And it's a symbol. One that the faithful and faithless alike understand.
I'm pretty sure we already listened to / read this. I just don't have memory of it. But it was grayed out, so we must have. Yeah, tell me what. You
still see them. Not all can. But then again, few have a watcher's gift of sight.
Oh, okay.
Huh.
Yeah, okay, we've done all that. Oh, he repeats back what I say when I go with that one. I guess we'll just go down any... There's other dialogue paths of his that we haven't explored. I just wanted to make sure that we fully completed those ones, because sometimes if there's a diverging...
If doubts and curiosity plague
diverging path, it doesn't always tell you. Oh, I accidentally clicked on the same one. Let's just... because I don't know if that uses up one of the... speaking... Like, you can only ask him 3 things, it seems. 3 separate, like, lines of inquiry.
What?
Each rest. Alright. I've got questions. I want to know about your name. It's an odd name, Durance. No more than Watcher. And Durance is not a name. It is a title. So what does the title mean? Durance snorts. What does a Watcher mean? Durance is something sacred of Magran. One of her memories, perhaps. A branch of teaching. He taps his staff slightly, as if remembering, then shrugs. Let us not waste time talking of it. We have not shared the road and fire long enough, and this teaching of Durance, well, Durance is not a popular chapter of the faith. Okay? I had other questions about you. I just realized Durance is like the end of the word endurance. You don't dress like a priest, and your robes look as if they were touched by fire. Durance grunts. And you don't fit any manner of watcher I've ever seen. Does it make you one now? He frowns and holds up his hand. Don't answer that. Okay, but were your robes burned? Or were you burned? Durance is silent for a moment, studying you. There are many ways to honor Magran. My robes... He looks down, then raises the frayed hems. They may not be cut of religious cloth, but they serve. They are reminders as well. Durance shrugs. The cut of the cloth rarely matters except to a tailor, and colors are better found on banners than worn on the shoulders. These burned robes feel more true to me than any garish trappings, so I keep them. Okay? You said before that Durance is a title, not a name. Care to elaborate? Did I? I did, he sneers. What a sharp memory you have. Is that what you want to hear? It is a title. Names are useless things. Actions and focus, those are what should be honored. Alright, well, again, what does it mean? Alright, well, he's not going to tell us. Tell me more about Ashfall. Okay, he will not. That's fine. Alright. Let's go speak to Maerwald.
No. Keep away from us. Leave us!
A large, liver-spotted man, barrel-chested and paunchy, cowers in the far corner of the room, his white hair a tangled, stringy mess. He covers his face and chest with trembling hands, unable to look in your direction.
Maybe we should come back later?
Are you Maerwald? He looks up over his hand, the muscles around his eyes twitching, and begins whispering to himself in sharp hisses, as though having an argument. All at once, he stops shaking, a sudden calmness falling over him. His head tilts forward slightly, and he looks you dead in the eye, like a cornered animal about to pounce. His voice turns suddenly raspy.
Maerwald isn't here, and he isn't fooled. He has sent for no callers. Be gone, deceiving spirit.
I'm no spirit. Do I look like any spirit you have ever seen?
Maerwald will speak with you, but you will maintain your distance, or you'll have me to answer to.
The old man turns his body away and has another muttered, sputtering argument, facing the wall. When he turns back toward you, he has taken a confident stance, and his chest is puffed out like a soldier's. A new strength enters his voice.
Come to speak to Maerwald? Maerwald, whose touch is poison. Maerwald, who knows not his effect.
The man's posture folds, and the hands he'd held strongly at his sides a moment ago resume their original tremors. His voice is feeble and tentative. I was told I am a watcher, and that you could tell me more about it. And about a tablet of some worth after that. Once you two are finished, of course.
A window. Window to the ether, where spirits dwell. Peer and reach into it. Speak and listen through it. A watcher sees souls, reads them, knows their pasts, souls of the living, souls of the dead, an empath, and the souls see them back. Used it to help beings in both realms, did I. What the gods wanted of me, thought I.
He nods, still half distracted, eyeing the door behind us. He exhales feebly, his breath wheezing.
The gods put me in the world for vengeance, and I obliged.
With a quick spasm, his shoulders straighten and his voice becomes strong.
It was the gods' wishes that we protect those lands. My way was the only way to remove the foreigners.
He tilts his head forward, glowering at you, and his voice is raspy.
Little I knew.
He shrinks down, and is himself once more. He cradles his face in shaking hands. I was accosted by spirits on my way here. What do they want?
No. No! Forgive me! Forgive me!
Maerwald staggers backward, staring off at some imagined phantom. He covers his mouth with his hand, his breaths convulsing, his eyes red and exhausted. You seem to have lost your mind, Maerwald.
Lost? No. Found more of it. Too much. Too much to bear. An awakening.
Aloth's eyes narrow as he looks at the old man. How could a simple awakening have driven you to this? You mean you remember your past lives?
Something reminds. Memories stirred.
Memories before birth. Other bodies. Other times.
Maerwald nods.
Memory. Personality. Identity. Any might resurface. Or all.
He looks again at the door behind you. And I seem to be having a conversation with several of them right now.
Ghosts of the mind. Maerwald has lost control. Maerwald's body no more.
He nods, sheepish. So the spirits I passed, what are they?
Spirits and not spirits. Always whispering to Maerwald, reminding him of his mistakes. No sleep. Watchers see memories before them, form them from the essence of their own souls. Once Maerwald awakened, he could not make them leave. Gave them more form, not less.
So these spirits are memories from previous lives?
Troubled memories, angry memories, pulling Maerwald back, reminding him his mistakes. Marauder and soldier, soldier and marauder, how could they know?
He nods, a piteous look on his face. How do you tell a spirit from a memory?
Fragmented are memories, stuck in time, mindless, cruel, never far.
And why do these past lives still trouble you?
My fault. All my fault. Soldier and marauder, soldier and marauder and Maerwald. No forgiveness for what's past. No undoing what's done. No sleep. No sleep for the Watcher.
He looks at you, baggy-eyed and lost.
War there was all around. War of stone, war of tree.
He's talking about two different wars, fought back to back, long time ago. The Broken Stone War and the War of Black Trees. The usual conflicts between locals and settlers getting out of hand, both of them. Some folks are still mad about what one side did to the other.
Death we brought to the settler men. We, the 9 claws. Claws of 9. Worse what we did to the women. For love of the gods. The gods' love. For their love.
I met one of your memory spirits. There was talk of raiding a village. Maerwald's voice becomes raspy, and he is somewhere else in place and time, speaking to someone unseen.
Hold her down. Head her. Give this Hattie a bitch an air that belongs in Air Glodfath.
Maerwald cringes, himself again, watching something he can't bear to see, shaking his head over and over, he wails. His soul is marked by flame, and those marks will never heal. His trial has broken him, but better that than to live in weakness. You were a monster, you deserve this, even for a past life. Well, he didn't do it, right? Like the previous bodies that his soul was in did it, but he didn't. Like, how can you learn from your mistakes if you don't have memory of them? So, it's weird. Like, I can't really hold current Maerwald blameworthy for things that Maerwald's soul did in the past in other bodies when he was born and raised in different places and circumstances. As in, I don't think his soul is inherently evil or inherently good or anything. I just think it's more complicated than that. The stoic response doesn't seem appropriate because it's not really living with something he's done. And I'm certainly not cruel. So I think take your time. It's over now. It was long ago. Continue when you're ready.
The boy. The boy. The baby boy. The boy. Conceived in the raid. Conceived by force. Vessel for marauder. slain in the raid, marauder and the boy, marauder and soldier.
His voice thins to a cracking whisper. A baby conceived by the raider? What do you mean it was a vessel for him?
For the soul, marauder's soul, same soul, one soul, boy's soul, marauder's soul, raised in lies and vengeance, raised to soldier, raised for the fire, born for the fire.
Then that was his mother I met in the keep? She told him his father was killed by the raiders.
You'll get no pity from me. The crimes of the Nine Claws clan in the last war are still unavenged. But the gods are just. They have led me here. In my father's name, every one of you will burn. Light it.
Maerwald straightens up, his voice deep. He speaks to some invisible thing. Then he looks off to his side, as if it's someone else standing nearby, as he gives the command to light the fire. Durant smirks. Burning his own! And why not? If they had been wicked and earned their punishment. He is weak of mind and soul. To see him cower before the flame, that should give you the measure of him. Maerwald's shoulders slump. He rocks back and forth, agitated. He mutters to himself, oblivious to your presence.
Soldier and marauder, lies and vengeance, and dead villages. All dead. All dead. What for? What for?
He looks at you. Well, I see no reason, just bad luck.
How little we know.
He shakes his head bitterly. I've seen apparitions like those elsewhere since I became a watcher.
Oh, no, 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 no. You too. You too.
Tears well in Maerwald's eyes. All at once, in spite of his abject misery, his expression changes to one of utmost sympathy. Poor man! Poor man!
They will take you too.
What? An inevitable madness? That can't be right. Connor folds his arms. There's always an answer to be found, if you look hard enough. So you're saying I'll end up like you, Maerwald?
So fragile the Watcher's mind. So real his memories. Once awakened, how can he sleep?
He pouts, as though holding his mouth closed so that the answer won't escape. At length, he nods. If I'm awakened to a past life, how would that have happened?
You were reminded of it. Strong memories, lingering lives, they dwell near the surface, waiting to be remembered, waiting to take your mind for their own. Maerwald sat at his hearth and watched his fire, watched the wood burn. Then came the memory of another fire and burning wood and screams.
His face trembles involuntarily. Well, there must be some way to make these memories go away.
No. Always there. Always remembered. Can't forget. Can't unsee.
Well, I didn't just remember. Someone caused this. They wore masks and spoke of books and keys and a queen. There was a man there, and he seemed familiar to me.
Keys of lead. Books of burden. Queens that were. Known to me are they. The leaden key.
The leaden key? It seems we share an enemy, Kasemir. Assassins and watch-awakers both. They certainly keep busy. What can you tell me about this leaden key?
Secrets. Secrets and deceptions and schemes. Who knows their answers? Not they. Not they. Crossed them before. Hatred of watchers. Hatred and fear. Much we see. Threat to secrets.
And who is this queen that they pray to?
Woodica. Goddess. crown shattered and body burned. Binder of oaths and grudge holder. Bearer of justice. But whose?
And if the leaden key caused my awakening, could they undo it?
Many secrets do they keep. Unawakened? Mayhap. Who else if not they?
Maerwald's bushy white eyebrows edge upward. He begins muttering to himself. Just as you are about ready to repeat your question, he speaks. And do you know where I might find the leaden key?
City of Defiance. Never far from the Queen.
Well, then I need to go, so I can search for this man from the leaden key. Thank you, Maerwald.
Sleep well. Sleep well.
Maerwald nods at you, a look of understanding on his face.
Hold! I know your will die. Your actions were seen. You would sooner betray us to the Adir land thieves than take orders from me.
Before you turn to exit, he tilts his head forward. His eyes lock with yours, cold and dangerous, his voice gravelly. Take it easy. I'm not going to betray anyone.
Your betrayal is for nothing. Your warnings are lost on these foreigners, and their blood will be Gallowayne's tribute this night. I have asked the elders for the honor of claiming your head as my first trophy, and they have granted it. Beg for the Seeker God to grant you a quick death.
Okay, well, it looks like probably going to have to fight him. At least it's just him, so that's alright. Oh, no, he summoned some blights. That's great. Okay, well, we're now in combat. Let's get our damage reduction out. Let's move me there. Try to get a dare to run forward. We'll get Kana going on Maerwald there. Oh, no, no. Okay. Alright, okay, that's good, that's good. Okay. Alright. And now let's get that there. Okay. Use Holy Radiance, I think. Get some of this out. Adair, can you knock him down? No. Not until we get a bit closer. I think it's probably worth binding Maerwald if we can. And let's use that again. Use that. 55. Yeah, that's okay. Oh wait, did he not do that? Do that. Okay. Kana, can you summon anything yet? No. Can't do anything else. Actually, let's save. Wondering if we can corrode damage, maybe? Do we need it? He has very high, what is that, fortitude defense, very low reflex defense. So those will attack fortitude, so he's going to resist them pretty easily. That one he'll also be, maybe I should just use Minnaletta's missiles. Yeah, that's working nicely. Let's do that again. Just do a few of those. That should finish him. Adair's flail is useless. There we go. That's Maerwald down, so just a flame blight now. Should be pretty easy.
Good. This isn't working.
Immune to guns, is it? Okay. Switch to your S stock then. Claymore.
Of course.
Come on, Kara. Can I do anything against it? Yeah, I can bounce it off Adair and onto Flame Blight. No, I was immune anyway. Alright, well that's okay. There is a change in the air of the keep. What was thick and suffocating feels to you somehow more breathable, as though yielding to a conquering invader. Maerwald's body lies inert. You can feel his soul lingering there, uncertain. There is something unique about this soul in this place. A bond formed in decades of inhabitants and lordship that feels somehow palpable to you. As though even in death, the keep knows its former master, and the former master remembers his keep. Kasemir was granted Speaker to the Restless. I'll have to see what that does. Because I cannot remember. I'll have to look up what that does, I think. Speaker of the Restless. Or maybe if it's an ability, there'll be a tooltip. Alright. So, in your mind's eye, the bond seems to you as a frayed rope, ghostly and alive, its frayed ends writhing like tide pool anemones, and you find that if you concentrate on it, you have the ability to manipulate its strands. So we can repair the rope, binding Maerwald's soul here as an eternal warden. We can sever the rope, allowing Maerwald to pass from the world, or we can draw upon the energy of the rope itself, siphoning knowledge from the connection. Let's have a look. I'm just thinking about this. I'm not actually totally sure what we should do. I'm very tempted to just eat his, eat his soul, essentially, draw upon the energy of the rope and siphon knowledge from the connection. I mean, that sounds useful, so I think we'll do that. Draw upon the energy of the rope itself to siphon knowledge from the connection. Because letting it pass from the world, I presume that just doesn't do anything. I guess that means his soul goes back to the wheel. Binding him to the keep, I don't know what that does. Maybe makes that talking chair throne a bit more potent. I don't know. This one, at least I know it. I presume it will strengthen my character, so we'll go with this. You turn both ends of the rope towards you, bringing them into contact with your essence, and as you do, the fibers turn to copper, and through them an energy is conducted into your being. You are traveling downward now, beneath the place you stand, seeing places dank and cobwebbed and malignant, like some untended garden, overgrown with flora and overrun with vermin. Below everything, at the very bottom, you glimpse for an instant some being you can't quite make out, presiding over it all with brilliant and terrifying power. One image remains in your perception, a circular room with a stone tablet that resembles the sun, in an area guarded by suits of armor that move of their own volition. It is deep, not far from the very bottom. There is a door in that room, invisible to all, but the most fastidious of eyes, and beyond it, something shimmering, something powerful. As the image fades, you find yourself in Cardnua once more. Maerwald's soul is nowhere to be seen. Well, there we go. That's the old Watcher. A worn book lies on the table, its pages filled with nonsensical scrawls. The sickly sweet smell of rot rises from this half-eaten fruit. Alright, so we get some primal flames, wind, and copper pans. This whirling cloud of smoke and air flashes with occasional bursts of energy. This bright little flame leaps and sparks with magical energy. And then we get Maerwald's Grimoire, which has a number of spells. I think we've got most of those. The only one we don't have is Bulwark against the elements. But that all makes... it's all around the caster. A Fireball we don't have yet for Aloth, so that's fairly useful. So we'll give that to Aloth. The rest can all go in the stash. And let's open this chest with the heavy iron key. 200 copper in there, very nice. Check if there's any hidden loot in here. I doubt there will be, but it's worth checking. And we can unlock that.
Finished.
Nice, 300 copper. And
I've got
unlock
it.
that too.
Finished.
Cool.
You cannot wit that older set? I don't want to discuss it.
You cannot wit that older. Okay. So we can actually speak to Kana
Yes?
here.
Poor Maerwald. He couldn't contend with all that he knew of himself. A cruel fate.
I don't think knowledge was the problem. He said that if I can find out what caused this, it might help me. That is true. And there is no such thing, in my experience, as too much knowledge. Kana smiles. Come, we'll find your answers. And mine, I hope. Yeah. What does everyone else have to say?
Hey.
Adair, you wanted to speak to him? What do you have to say? Adair scratches his head and smirks. Well, I guess talking to a crazy watcher is better than talking to no watcher at all. Let me ask you something.
What's on your mind? It makes two of us.
Okay, well,
What's on your mind?
you did speak to him, but I guess...
Yes?
Wasn't that part of his quest? Didn't he want to speak to the watcher? Alright, I guess we have to wait for Adair to comment on that then. Aloth, what should I do next? He tugs at his sleeves. Maerwald urged you to seek out those leaden key agents in Defiance Bay, yes? If his condition is any warning, we should find them with all haste. Yeah, alright. Fair enough. Durance? Thought I felt your eyes on me. Now come the words.
If doubts and curiosity plague you, you're skinning your knuckles on the wrong door.
Tell me more about you. He grunts. Tell me more about Ashfall. Okay, you don't want to. Fine. That is fine. Let's check if that spirit door is... No, it looks like it's still there. Yeah. It repels forward movement with unnatural force. Alright, well, we've cleared everything else down here. There is something here, but we can't get to it, evidently. So let's head back up. I guess Defiance Bay is the next place we have to go to. But we do have a few quests to complete.
Aye, you're
before then.
right. No sense listening to that old bam pot.
Damned Virago, not now!
Damned
Aye.
Virago. What is going on, Aloth?
Yeah.
Oh, something just disappeared there. Speak to the steward, I suppose.
I felt Maerwald's passing. You slew him.
Several of him, in fact.
It saddens me to hear it. but part of me is grateful to no longer have to wait and worry in darkness.
The steward is silent a moment. The air seems to chill.
This place has always known its master, long as it's had one. It has a will all its own, which has little to do with the castle and much to do with the land it's built on. It looks to you as Maerwald's successor now, whether you care for it or not. A dubious honor, inheriting a fortress both broken and cursed. But in the right hands, it could be so much more. If you had only seen it in its day. Will you stay?
Well, Maerwald said that I must go to the City of Defiance in search of the Queen. And our stronghold is now available. You can manage your stronghold at any time through the castle icon. Cool. But yes, apparently I have to go. The energy seems all at once to drain from the air. I see. If it's Defiance Bay you seek, I'm sorry to tell you that you've come a long way for nothing. The Eastern Barbican collapsed decades ago, and Maerwald never got around to rebuilding it. The road here is a dead end. He got as far as gathering materials before his mind became preoccupied. I could make arrangements to have it repaired, if it is your will. When it ceased to be the previous master's will, I became powerless to do anything about it. For what am I but the master's instrument? It would take time, but far less than finding another route to Defiance Bay. Okay, how do I repair the Barbican? Maerwald set aside materials for the Barbican, and they are still available to you. In the future, if you wish to make further repairs to the keep, we will need coin for supplies and labor. And what does being the master of Cardnua entail? Why, there are many responsibilities involved in maintaining a keep. The extent to which you wish to get involved is entirely up to you, of course. Part of the reason I am here is to ensure that things run smoothly in your absence, provided we have been given instruction. If you instruct me on which repairs you wish to conduct next, I will make the necessary arrangements. These may take some time to finish, but each will provide you with additional resources once they are complete. Given somewhere to place them, we can hire tradesmen to provide you with supplies or ingredients. Repairing the keep will raise your prestige, and draw both helpful individuals and unwelcome attention from bandits and opportunists. If we can raise the keep's security in turn, these will become less of a concern. You should know, however, that the position does come with some risk. Your name will grow in fame, and you must contend with threats to the keep. And then there are other things. What did you mean when you said this keep was cursed? Maerwald's curse was his own, a watcher's curse, but his predecessors have not fared better. There is a presence within the keep, or rather, far beneath it. At least, such has been the conclusion drawn by all who have come to this place, for what spirits still linger in the endless paths oft speak of a master below. Every effort to settle here has failed. From the time of our Adiran colonists onward, beasts rise from the endless paths, until the new lord or lady is no more. The one who dwells below, this master, does not tolerate rivals, it seems. I have seen, from time to time, intrepid explorers descend to lay claim to what answers they can, but none return. This is the force which has kept Cardnua a barren ruin, and robbed me of my hopes. The endless paths! That, my friend, is where I must go, where we must go, if you will go with me. Whatever devils lie beneath, think too what knowledge we will find. Perhaps this master speaks Adiran. What are the endless paths? The endless paths of Odnua. That is the name given to the labyrinth beneath the keep. The Earl, we were warned by the Glanfathans that this site was cursed, and there is a legend attached to it, though at the time we thought nothing of it. The ruins were built, it is said, by a powerful Engwithan named Odnua, who ruled there until his people turned against him. They destroyed his endless paths, and filled many of the upper tunnels in with soil and stone. No one living knows how far down the tunnels stretch, and few who have ventured there have returned. There is much talk of riches and treasure. The promise of Engwithan relics alone has drawn many fortune seekers to their deaths, I fear. And who is this master below? I could not say with any certainty. I believe it must be tied to the man said to have been the architect of the Endless Paths, the Engwithan tyrant, Odnur. Some claim his spirit endures, or at least has laid a curse upon the site. I cannot imagine much remains of his work, for the ruins have been here 1,000 years or more. But what is left is impressive. The Earl certainly thought so. You may have seen, while below, the hand of the great statue Odnur constructed. Perhaps it is a statue of Odnur himself. But am I not the master of Cardnur? Of course you are. The keep would have no other. But the Endless Paths are a different thing entirely. It is unfortunate, really, that they are so closely entwined. If the master below is not dealt with, there will always be a threat to the keep from within. I know it is much to take in, but if you would remain, if you would be lord of this place, then I can only advise you to seek out this foe before it destroys you. Alright, I've got other questions. Okay, no I don't. Time to find this queen in the City of Defiance. You must know, this queen you're looking for. Defiance Bay has no queen. The Mequins of Adir haven't reigned here since the war. The only queen with any power there is Woodica. I am told they erected an exquisite temple in her honor there, but I was never able to see it. If you mean to go there, we can get started right away on repairing the Barbican. You need only tell me what you wish to do, and I'll make the necessary arrangements. Maerwald kept a ledger, as it happens, and I have taken the liberty of updating it. You could take a look if you wish. Sure, let me see what repairs I can make. Then we'll get underway at once. The steward's voice belies a giddy excitement. Know, my lord, that this is but the first and least of a great many undertakings. The keep supported a great many buildings and servants for many years. If you should wish it, we can repair some of the outlying structures, and these will bring you wealth and recognition, drawing people to your service. Rebuilding the defenses will keep your grounds from becoming overrun, as they did under Maerwald's keeping. You need not choose all at once. I am pledged to your aid, and so long as you are master here, we shall always be linked. You need not step upon these grounds to speak with me. Wherever your travels may take you, you can make your will known to me, if you but reach out. Oh, but first, of course, the Barbican. So upgrades to your stronghold cost money and take time to complete. Each upgrade can add security or prestige to the stronghold or add additional functionality like resting bonuses, periodic free crafting ingredients, or new stores. Cool. So main keep. So to upgrade the main keep, we've got to repair. So we've got to do the Eastern Barbican first. So the Eastern Barbican gates passage to the Wood End Plains, the crossroads between Cardnur, Deerford, and Defiance Bay. So that'll give us +1 prestige and +2 security. So we'll purchase that. And I guess that's going to complete pretty quickly. So the next one then, restoring Bright Hollow will allow you to rest there. Other upgrades can unlock resting bonuses for it. That's that manor. And the main keep as well. We can get Warden's Lodge, watches over the wilds near the stronghold. Upgrading the lodge will grant a bonus to the survival skill upon resting at Bright Hollow, as well as provide access to the Warden, who offers high-level bounties. Woodland trails surround the domain of your keep. Upgrading them will grant both a constitution and athletics bonus when resting at Bright Hollow. Yeah, cool. Alright. I think we spend the money on the main keep. Repairing the Great Hall, allowing visitors and adventurers to be able to be available to us, basically, and our companions. That'll be done in 3 days, and then we'll do Bright Hollow restoration after that, I think. Okay, cool. Let's speak to Kana again. Get his gun equipped.
I confess, I was hoping our meeting with Maerwald would go a little differently. But then, you have gained an entire keep. I don't think I've seen anyone inherit land that quickly since Kyne the Younger read her father's will.
Yeah, well, I did come to the Deerwood looking for a new home. Or it appears I'm one of the gentry now. I wish I could have gotten through to him. Yeah, well, this sounds a little sarcastic. It appears that I am one of the gentry now. I wonder. I think the Deerwood will be slow to call you Thane, or even Lord. Not that you don't deserve the titles, but these things are always complicated. Still, in practice, you are king of the keep.
It will give you a base from which to go searching at least. And then, there are secrets beneath the keep yet. With you at the helm, it should be easier to explore the endless paths.
He grins eagerly.
Following your lead.
Anything else to say?
Yes, my friend?
No. What about you, Durance? No.
Hey,
Adair?
what's on your mind?
Nope.
Yes?
Aloth? No, nothing. Okay, alright. Let's speak to the steward again.
It is good to see you here. I can feel a change in the air already. There is much to do. Is there anything I can do to help?
Yeah, what's the state of the keep? Ah, where to begin? Let's see here. Events occur at the stronghold as time elapses. The higher your stronghold's prestige, the more positive the events tend to be. However, a high security is also important, as it can help prevent theft and kidnappings. Adventures are opportunities for your companions and adventurers to earn experience while they aren't in the party. Visitors can affect security and prestige of the stronghold while they are present. Some events even offer rare items for sale during limited periods of time. Well, there's no events at the moment. Hirelings help defend your stronghold from expensive collateral damage in the unfortunate event of an attack. They cost money to maintain, but their cost usually offsets the potential for damage. Hirelings also contribute to the security and prestige of the stronghold, sometimes negatively. From the party management screen, you can see what your allies are up to when they aren't in the party. If you've assigned them to adventures, you can see how long it will take for them to complete their assignment. Recalling a companion or adventurer from a mission before it is completed will forfeit all of the potential rewards for that assignment. Okay. Alright.
Yeah.
I wonder if we can go back, go down even further now. I wonder if that spirit wall is still there or not. I presume it'll be gone, but I'm not 100% sure. Might be there until we repair the main keep, perhaps. No, it looks like it's gone. Probably save, just in case there's
Laying low.
enemies on the other side.
Here we are. To think we are so close. Beneath our very feet lie the endless paths, built by Ard Nua, the great Engwithan king. Well, up here this is all Adiran, of course. But should we descend far enough, we will find some real history. To uncover that great king's tomb would be a dream. But it is one of his servants I am after. Gabranos, a powerful mage and a dedicated scholar. A keeper of lore, just as I mean to be. He was in possession of the Tanvi Oratoa, or whatever form of it preceded the one we know. I've seen it in ruins, alongside Gabranos' name. Scraps of the same symbols and verses we know in Rauatai. He must have held the words in high regard. Or perhaps he was even the author.
You sound very impressed by this Gabranos. They say he held power over the elements, Kana coughs, but I'm more interested in his writing. He was a prolific author. I haven't been able to translate everything, but I've seen enough to know that he traveled far and wide. If only we could have met him. What wisdom he could share! But we can follow his example and strive to learn from those around us. Improve upon it. So you haven't actually read any of his writing? Well, not entirely. How could I? It's a dead language, and hardly anyone has translated even a small fraction of it. But what little I can, I have translated. By comparing the symbols in his work to what others have found, I pieced together a phrase from the Tanvi Oratoa, clear as day. I even gave it to the keeper to check, but she was convinced I'd written it myself. He does sound impressive. It'll seem arrogant, now that I've sung his praises, but reading that text, it felt like I was looking through a mirror, at some past version of myself. Ridiculous, isn't it? In any case, I'm no master of the elements. Why does this book matter so much? Rauatai faces troubled times. Once we were a unified people, but that's changing, and the Tanvi Oratoa is at the heart of that. There are those who say that we haven't held to its instruction, that we've allowed ourselves to grow weak, and polluted our traditions by welcoming foreigners rather than laying claim to the lands around us, that we must hold to those traditions if we are to make of ourselves a nation to be feared. My brothers would have it so, but we don't need to isolate ourselves to make Rauatai great. I know there's more to the chant. It wasn't created out of sand and water 1,000 years ago, but brought to Rauatai by the Nguithans, by a people that knew the value of alliances, and shared their knowledge with us, and with that knowledge we made Rauatai what it is today. If I can find the original, I can prove it. They'll know that the chant is far older than we believed, that the Nguithans favored peace and the trade of knowledge. If we follow in their footsteps, we can make a kingdom just as grand and lasting as theirs. How is one old book going to change the minds of everyone in Rauatai? It's hardly any old text, but I see your point. Connor looks down at his hands, rubbing the webbing between his fingers with his thumb. It might not convince everyone, but at least it will lend weight to the call for peace. Do you have anything else to say about it? Okay, no. Are you always this excitable? Actually, wait, no, you said a different line there. Yeah, I know it must seem strange to an outsider. I wish I had the keeper here to sing the chant for you. It is different when you've grown up with those words. Do honor by your name, for your time upon the world is short, and where names are easily forgotten, deeds are not. That one's easy enough, but there are many verses, and many interpretations. I would keep to the one that leads us into greatness, rather than into war. We're already viewed with suspicion abroad. At the very least, trade goes better when you don't sink all the ships, right? Are you always this excitable? We're on the verge of a great discovery. I wonder at your restraint. Alright, well, let's start looking then.
If my sources are correct, Gabranos will have brought the text with him. It will probably be within a library, or a tomb perhaps. It tends to be one of the two. Let's be off.
Alright. Let's,
Hello.
carefully go down these stairs here. So who knows what's going to be down here. Who knows how many levels there are to this place as well. Zorips I think we can take. This crooked effigy has been cobbled together with logs, scaled hides, and bones. A human skull adorns the top. Alright, let's get a dare in the front there. We'll get Aloth to use chill. That is actually a lot of them. Damn. Oh, and a worm as well. Let's go here, kill that priest. Nice. Yeah, let's get that second priest. I think we're alright. I don't like... Don't know what is, what are they weak to? Alright, can we knock it down?
Following your lead.
Oh, another skirmisher, that's no good. Let's use that. Actually, you know what, let's do that. Oh, that's that speaker to the restless. The Watcher speaks directly to the souls of his or her enemies, filling them with dread of what awaits them in the wheel. Did I use Mind Blades? Did now. There you go, that's that one down.
Hey.
Cool. Ah, we got some levels as well, and a bunch of loot there, including some moonstone. Moonstone derives its name from its moonlight-like luster, and is sometimes collected by Ondra's gift-bearers, who associate the stone's presence in the world with the legends of Ondra's love affair with the moon. Cool. What's that? Bloodstone. Worm wing. Even at their youngest, dragons are dangerous creatures. This is the wing from a worm, already impressive in its span. Yeah, that thing did quite a bit of damage. Alright, let's, you know what, actually, let's save the hard save there. Let's level up. Lean into mechanics a bit more, I think. Yeah, that's fine. More mechanics. Okay, we get to pick some level 3 powers. We've got Ecto-Psychic Echo. Generates a rebounding wave of psychic feedback between the Cipher and an ally that causes crush damage to enemies caught in between. We can pick 2 powers, actually. Or we can choose something from previous level. Fractured Volition violates an enemy's memories to bring vivid recollections of past failures to the surface, leaving the target hobbled and weakened. So that's just the target, not AoE. Pain Link mentally links nearby enemies to the target, forcing them to experience a portion of all damage the target suffers. 25% of all damage reapplied to nearby enemies over 26.1 seconds. That's pretty good. Puppet Master destroys a target's psychic defenses, leaving them dominated by the Cipher for the duration. We've already got Charmed. Dominate's stronger, I guess. Secret Horrors causes enemies in the area of effect to believe their worst fears have been realized, frightening and sickening them for the duration. And Soul Ignition forces an enemy's soul to leak energy, igniting the air around them and burning them over time. That's pretty good for bosses. Let's go with Soul Ignition and Pain Link. Maybe eventually we'll get... Secret Horrors isn't bad. That one, I just don't see how we could use that, given we're always at the back shooting. And that one just doesn't seem that good. Pain Link seems good, Puppet Master is good, Secret Horrors, so I think we'll go those two. Could always go with one of these older ones. Feel their resolve. Recall agony. Yeah, no, I think we're good with Pain Link and Soul Ignition. Looks okay to me. Okay, and let's level Adair. We'll boost his athletics. And no, we won't boost his survival. Alright, vigorous defense. The fighter becomes fiercely determined to deflect all incoming blows, dramatically increasing all defenses for a short time, once per encounter, plus 20 to all defenses. That's pretty good. Or confident aim, 20% of grazers converted to hits, plus 20% minimum damage. It's a passive. We could give him a weapon specialization. Don't know which one we'd give him. Discipline Barrage, once per encounter, plus 20 accuracy, Guardian Stance. Into the fray. Fighter lunges through the battle, pulling an enemy into immediate melee range, causing pierce damage and leaving them dazed. Twice per encounter. Not bad. We only get one though. Guardian Stance, plus 10 deflection, minus 10 accuracy. I like the one that gives him the engagement limit though. I think Vigorous Defense, we'll go with that. Make him tankier. Alright. Let's
I shall be quiet as a calm sea, which is not very quiet.
just checking there's no hidden loot in the entrance, which didn't think there would be, but always worth checking. Some more Zorips over here, and a worm.
Great.
Let's actually, let's everyone attack the worm. You attack Zorip.
Stand still.
That went alright. That was just a reasonably small encounter.
Sure.
Hello? What's this here? Got a vase. This Zorip is lying in a corner of the chamber. Its ribs show starkly beneath its scaly hide, and its breathing is labored, each whistling breath causing obvious discomfort. It doesn't seem to be reacting to your presence. Examine the Zorip. Perception 16. You look the sick creature over and notice that its skin shows some discoloration, with ugly patches of yellow and livid purple. You note that these seem to coincide with the placement of the ritualistic paint that has been daubed onto the creature. So it's poisoned itself. Let's just leave it alone for the moment. Perhaps we can cure it.
Light, flame, and sound. We'll keep to ourselves.
Okay. Okay, a Zorip champion. I think this one will. We kill the skirmisher first. Oh, that's a lot. Alright. Let's, Oh, you don't have any, It's okay. Can do that. Let's use that one. We'll get endurance to use Holy Radiance. Maybe I should have used Pain Link on Oh, geez, Durance. Adair, you're really going down. Don't die there. You knock him down. And let's, I don't know if we need to use that, but let's use... No, let's use that. That's a lot of... Let's use it there. Kana, can you summon? Yeah, summon. I think we're getting there. Almost there.
Following you.
This is a tough... Let's get power back into don't really want to use that just yet. Let's finish the worm. Oof. We need to... Yeah, good. Let's get me back further behind. Need to finish off these worms. They are just really killing me. Okay.
Following your lead. Get up!
How did that worm heal?
What?
Oh, what? Healed to full? We can try that. May as well. That seems to have helped. Do that as well. Don't die, dude. Yes, alright, now that worm. Whew. Hard won battle. My goodness. Alright, we need to get out of here because Aloth and Adair are both maimed. But Aloth has enough experience to level up, so that's good. So does Kana. Let's level Aloth up. Do we want to give him more lore? Don't know if we need to, really. Well, now we can use level 5 scrolls. So, that's fine. Yeah, we'll just do that. Alright, so Arcane Dampener creates a nullifying field of antagonistic magical energy around the chosen point, suppressing all beneficial effects on enemies in the area of effect. Arduous delay of motion, alters the perception of time for enemies in the area of effect, lowering speed. Draining touch, drains 31.8 corrode damage as endurance. No. Crackling bolt. Caster becomes a living generator for a powerful bolt of electricity that streaks out in a straight line, bounces off walls, harming anything caught in its path. It's not awful. Plus 50% attack speed. Minus 5 DR and 10 deflection and 10 concentration for foes in the AoE. Fireball. Summons a flaming ball of molten earth that explodes at a targeted location, causing burn damage. We can buy that from Maerwald's Grimoire, actually, now that I think of it. Kalakoth's Minor Blights creates a ball of energy in the caster's hand that can be thrown at an enemy, causing burn, freeze, corrode, or shock damage to anyone in the area of effect. Blights are continually replenished until the spell ends. Very interesting. Lengrith's Displaced Image, plus 25% plus 25 deflection for 58 seconds. That's pretty good, actually. But only if you're getting hit. Minalette's Bounding Missiles. I like this one. That seems quite good. Noxious Burst, 32 to 45 corrode damage. Also seems quite good. And Ringram's Repulsive Visage. Or Visage. I think we'll go with those two and we'll buy Fireball. Noxious Burst and the Bounding Missiles. Sounds good. And let's equip Maerwald's Grimoire into the quick items, and Aloth doesn't know Fireball. Oh, no, how do I... Ah, the plus. 300 copper. Yeah, alright, let's buy it. Thrust of Tattered Veils. Oh, he doesn't know that one either. That's okay. And let's add to his Grimoire Fireball. Cool. Okay. Let's loot some of this stuff here. Valoon. Valoon's namesake is a yellow-orange fruit found in Old Valia. These clear gemstones bear a similar yellow-orange color and are often cut like rubies, sapphires, and emeralds. Most of the world's known Valoon mines have long since dried up, and the stone has become one of the most sought after in recent years. Cool.
Right.
Okay, let's just save before we do stuff. Curled against the inside of this broken shell is a tiny white shape. Only when a tiny toothed maw opens to let out a frightened squeak is it clear that this is a small worm, recently hatched. Alright, let's pick it up. So we get tiny white worm as a pet. This worm appears to have been the runt of the litter, for it is much smaller than its fellows. For all that, its scales are a beautiful gleaming white, and it seems to be fond of you. Very good. And what's in this? Flail, potion and some copper.
I shall be quiet as a calm sea, which is not very quiet.
These cracked eggshells are leathery but brittle. Most of them have been trampled into a fine dust, stamped with tiny clawed footprints. Ah, hidden loot. We have fine club and camping supplies. So we can rest here, which we have to do if we're going to go on, but we should level Kana. I almost forgot about that. Give him another point in lore. And he gets some more phrases, so we can get just one. Lo, their endless host, the Harbinger's doom, which generates a field of terror, frightening enemies in the area of effect, which reduces their resolve and dexterity by 2 and accuracy by 10. Or 1 dozen stood against the power of the saint. Decreases the duration of and defends against frighten and terrify effects for allies in the area of effect. Not bad. Rime and Frost followed the footfalls of Karth. Allies leave a hazardous trail of frost wherever they move, hobbling and causing freeze damage to enemies. We don't move that much in combat though, and nor do the enemies once they're engaged. 20% reload speed, 20% range attack speed. Sure-handed Ela knocked her arrows with speed, decreases reload time, and increases speed of range attacks for all allies. The fox from the farmer did a run and leap, reduces accuracy of disengagement attacks for enemies in the area of effect. Minus 10 accuracy against disengaging enemies. It's actually, that's tough. I mean, that's decent. That's not good. This one's alright. Maybe we'll go with sure-handed Ela. Or we could get one from... I think we'll go with that one. That'll make his rifle abilities better, and it'll make mine better. Let's edit his chant. How do we edit his chants again? It's here. Yeah. So we've got plus 10 fortitude and will, and minus endurance. So we'll add sure-handed Ela. Okay, let's rest.
Right.
That goes down to another level. We still have all this to clear. Okay, I like this choke point. Let's just get... yeah, hit the skirmisher. On that side, because what I want to do is perfect. Oh, go there. May as well use radiance. Oh, it's hitting Adair. How is it hitting Adair? Just move like that then. Adair can heal himself in that way.
Hey.
knock him down, maybe? Yeah, let's hit him while he's down. Perfect. Alright, that combat went reasonably well.
Hello? Hello?
More Zorip champions, let's get in formation. That's a big one. Alright, let's do this a bit more carefully. Let's put Adair here. Put me there. Kana there. Durance there. Aloth there.
Yeah.
That should be okay.
Follow.
We can do that. We can do that. Adair, you can probably come over a little bit more. Is there a Zorip priest there? No. Good. Good. What I really want to use, I want to try this link one. Let's use vigorous defense actually. No, actually.
Hey.
Oh, there is a priest. Alright, let's use that. May as well use that. Aloth, you can use... Well, you could use Noxious Burst, or you could use Fireball. I think they're probably weaker to fire. That's just a guess, though. Let's just throw it there. Can you move there? Can you move there? Just need to make sure I'm getting hits. Yep, cool. Aloth, start using that. Durance, you can whack from the back. Don't let up, Aloth. Okay. Let's just use that one now. Okay, that's pretty much under control.
Hey.
Great. Oh, no, don't run, sorry.
I'm stuck over here.
Actually, Kana, what are you doing? Summon... Perfect. There. Oh my god. Trying to get him out of harm's way.
Yes?
These worms are tough. Doing a whole lot of damage to them. looks like I'm doing the most damage, and I think Kana does good damage. The arquebus. Yeah, Kana's damage is pretty good too. Definitely weak to pierce. Cool. And endurance leveled up, which is good.
How may I help? Fie! You're worse than Aloth!
Light, flame, and sound.
Be careful.
We'll keep to ourselves.
Right. Adair is low on health again. Must be something that we could do to heal his health on the go without having to rest. I don't know what else to give Durance, really. So he gets a bunch more spells. Circle of Protection. That's pretty good. Despondent Blows. Minus 15 melee accuracy, 15% of crits converted to hits. Not bad. Dire Blessing, 20% of hits converted to crits. Also not bad. Pillar of Faith, crush damage on enemies. Prayer against restraint, immunity to hobbled and stuck. Restore moderate endurance. Warding Seal generates a magical seal that explodes in a burst of electrical energy when an enemy comes into contact with it, inflicting shock damage. So it's a trap, essentially. And Watchful Presence. Friendly AoE, plus 39 endurance when endurance is below 20%. Yeah, okay, so helpful for tanks. Let's see, is there any hidden loot? That looks like a pretty gnarly chamber in there. Thing is, because Adair's health is low, his endurance is also low. And there is a trap just there. Any other traps? No. Corpse! Pharamon's Curse. This rolled up piece of parchment is covered in smeared charcoal scrawls. Let me get it down in writing. I knew this was a shit plan from the start. Merrick, gleeful as a toddler, convinced we were going to talk the Zorips into helping us fill our pockets. Help Andrus right into a great big pit, more like. And now you've all run off like hares. Meanwhile, here's me, up to my armpits in bones and Zorip shit. I hope you all rot down here. I hope Merrick trips right off the edge of the world, and Drafton loses what's left of his wits and guts, the rest of you. 5 of us left, and you run. Curse each and every one of you, and curse me too for dying here on account of a bunch of mewling pisspots. Here's for when one of you rotten lizard bastards learns some Adairan. I hope you all fucking choke. Well, someone's not happy. And we've got Hand and Key, which is unique medium armor. 10 DR, 13 pierce, resistance, 9 burn, 9 freeze, minus 40% recovery. It's fine, so plus 2 DR, and plus 25 defense against confused, charmed, and dominated attacks. Sorry, 25, then 20, and then 15. Worn by Pefral, a paladin of the kind wayfarers, this breastplate bears an elegant relief of 2 hands presenting a key. Pefral commissioned the armor to demonstrate his dedication to the idea of opening paths and doors for those who might otherwise find the passage too dangerous. While his devotion to the order dictated almost every facet of the man's life, Pefral was also a faithful adherent of the god Berath, and the Hand and Key served as a personal reminder that the final door he opened would bring him into the god's keeping. So what about, let's compare that with Adair's armor.
Hey.
So Adair's Saints War armor has 7 DR, 9 slash, 8 pierce, 9 freeze. So it's the same on the freeze one. This has better pierce, better slash, and better overall DR. Minus 40% recovery speed instead of 35, not huge. Even with the 3 pierce damage reduction thing here, it's still not as good. Although the handed key is upgraded to fine. We could upgrade Adair's Saint's armor to fine, which would bring it up to 9 damage resistance. But I think we're better off just giving him this to wear, to be honest. We can I'll just leave that in his inventory for now. Put that in the stash. Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably the best thing we can do. That'll make him tankier by quite a bit, actually. I mean, we could even enchant this more if we wanted to. Give him Constitution. But I don't think that's necessary. But that's good. Make Adair tankier, although his health is still very, very low at the moment. Actually, his endurance is only reduced a little bit. Another trap.
Found something.
Ooh, and a worm. That's tricky. We need to be careful. Ah, crap. Oh, crap. Okay, run. Run. You come up front, please. It's not too many of them, actually.
Hey.
Let's get behind there. I missed! Alright.
And what does the flame reveal?
Arrow trap. Pierce damage. Well, at least we didn't trigger the trap. Got a moonstone in there. More champions. Let's get in position, actually. Hang on. Adair, you're gonna go there. Durance, you'll go there. Kana, you'll go there. Aloth, you'll go, I don't know, here. And I will go here.
Hey. Worth a look.
Oh, that is a lot of them. High Priest as well. Okay. Let's certainly get that out. And we'll get that going.
Hey.
I don't know, try and knock him down. And let's get... I'm worried that's hitting... Yeah, it's hitting it there. That is unfortunate. Probably gonna struggle. Yeah, we needed Adair to be alive. My beam hit him. I should have put Adair there and put enemy on the other corner. I think we're gonna struggle now. And we can try. Yeah, no, we need a dare up. Let's reload. Try that again. Yeah, we may have to rest so that Adair gets his health back, but let's just see. Okay, so let's get me over there, Kana there, Durance there, Adair there, Aloth
Worth a look.
there.
Following your lead.
Actually, I don't want to... Oh, I can just do that. Good. And Aloth, let's use Fireball instead, I think. Wait, why did... Oh, I thought... Dare just got absolutely crushed. Yeah, no, Adair is just getting hit too much. Maybe we give him Pain Link? Do we have enough focus though? That's the question. No.
Light, flame, and sound. We'll keep to ourselves.
Maybe we use that, Aloth, you can sit there. Durance, you can sit there. Kana, you can sit there. I'll go here.
Worth a look.
Hey.
Following your lead.
Okay. Let's use that. Damn, he is just getting crunched. Let's use that. Aloth. Fireball, my friend. Do it. Do it. Do it now. Don't die. Can I save him? There is something I can do. What's the one that makes him invulnerable for a bit? What is it? Withdraw. Yeah, try that. That at least will save him. And I can use that. Aloth, you can... Or should you use... Yeah, use that. try that. The High Priest is dead, so that's something. Just worried about... Can try Charm the Warrior maybe. Don't die. Did that not go through? Ah. Oh, crap. Ah, they're gonna kill me. Damn it. It was going so well too, but Adair just... I need Adair to stay up for longer. How is he still withdrawn though? That's almost done. Oh, they're actually no longer in combat, I don't think. So if I can kill these ones. Alright, well let's give it a good crack.
Lava.
Yeah, let's just use spells.
Lava.
How did that miss? Are you kidding me?
Lava beyond. Lava will be on seek.
How's every single one of his spells missing? It's because the hit chance is so low. Kana, can you just try and...
Kana, watch out!
Try that. Do you have any... Ray of Fire? No. Minor Endurance? Yeah, do that. Something.
Feeling the strain. Damn it! We gotta take.
This is like so close. Oh no. Paralyzed. Yeah. You missed. Oh my god, I missed. No, I'm dead. That's it. Stop missing! Oh wow. Talk about luck. Jeez, that was close. I think if Adair had been at full health, it probably would have gone a lot better.
Keeping an eye out.
I mean, we are, you know, we don't have a full party yet either. Probably shouldn't really even be in here without a full party. Let's get that trap disarmed. Alright, do we try take out those ones with,
Hey.
without Adair, or do we rest? That's the question. I think we quick save first.
Aye?
Following your
Right.
lead.
I think we try and take them out
What?
without Adair.
Following your lead.
Put Kana in front.
Yeah.
Okay.
How may I help?
Let's use radius immediately.
I?
What's that? Come on. Let's Ha. Oh, well that didn't last long. Oh, because I shot him. Pfft. It's not helpful.
Roll up 10!
At least we got the sun. Volcano went down. Alright. That's this room cleared. We'll definitely need to rest.
Nice and quiet.
Haha.
Look.
Now that's the kind of trap that can get you killed. Let's disarm it. Broken blade. This is the upper half of a broken blade. The metal is of fine quality, and it is unclear what caused it to snap neatly at the midpoint. Find more pieces of the ancient sword. Alright. That's that room clear, so it's just this last big bloody looking circle in the middle, which I do want to do, so let's rest. Last camping supply gone, but we'll go buy more. We've certainly made plenty of loot, so it's worth it. Dare's back at full health, everyone's back at full health. That's what you want. So let's head back over here. And we can try give the next level a crack as well, but I think without a full party it's going to be tricky. Alright, so there's some Zorip skirmishers here, and a Zorip High Priest. Stepping into this chamber, you are assailed by a cacophony of screeches, growls, and barks. Blood-spattered Zorips dance in frenetic, leaping motions. To one side, a Zorip plunges his hands into a bucket teeming with blood, to daub patterns onto the others, eager to join the rites. At the far end of the room, one Zorip, wearing the long skull of a young drake and vibrant feathers, shakes a staff towards the gathered Zorips, screeching and clicking. The High Priest suddenly raises the staff above his head, shrieking with renewed vigor. He swings the staff downward to point it at the pit, and then at you. I think we've just been invited to participate. Well, I don't want to participate in that, so we can...
Hey.
Oh, what's going on here? Alright, well they've certainly discovered us, but we're not in combat.
Hey.
Now we are. Alright. We'll shoot the skirmishers first, I guess.
Yes?
I'm thinking, well, first things first. Aloth, can you fireball, please? Durance, you do that. fireball that side now, Aloth. Just fireballs, that's all I want. Fireballs everywhere. And I really want to try Pain Link,
I'm stuck over here.
yeah. Pain Link there. And that hopefully makes him take a crap ton of damage. Did they Pain Link Aloth? No. I thought they might have, but they didn't. He's still paralyzed though. Durance, can you give us that blessing? And can you give us that blessing? And I'm going to attack that High Priest now, I think. Actually, I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to do this. And then I'm going to attack the High Priest. And... Jesus, Adair, don't die. Can you knock down the High Priest? Oh, he's stunned. Perfect. Do we have any more? Yeah, let's do that. Try that again, actually. Oh my god, Adair, don't die. Okay, let's do that as well. Let's finish that one off. Knock down this High Priest. Summon a phantom. I keep forgetting to do that. Actually, finish the High Priest. I think this is going okay. I don't think we need to do this right now. High Priest is dead. They're all dead. Go for the worms, I guess. Okay. Last one. Cool. Alright.
Right.
Get some Adra, Moonstone, Amethysts. Bunch of loot. There is only death upon the endless paths. Okay, well, let's... Oh, they disappeared. I don't think we could have spoken to them anyway.
Light, flame, and sound.
Let's check if there's any
Keep to ourselves.
hidden loot anywhere.
Light,
Aha.
flame, and sound. We'll keep to ourselves.
A measured restraint, a unique rapier. +1 enemies engaged. Not bad. The favoured weapon of a dear wooden noblewoman, measured restraint was not often seen in use, for its bearer was much concerned with propriety and felt that weapons should be the final resort in any conflict, though she was quite content to discredit or otherwise hinder those who slighted her. Once her temper was finally roused, however, the rapier spelled doom for her victims, for she wielded it with the proficiency of an old master and would not allow opponents a single opportunity to flee. That's not a bad weapon. This bucket is filled with blood and gives off an acrid stench. A dark film floats across the surface of the liquid. The blood spilled from this bucket seems to have eaten into the stone. The rope tied to the bucket looks long enough to descend into the pit. Interesting. So there's this big pit. Sacrificial pit. This wide pit descends into a grim darkness. You hear the whistling howl of wind, and from time to time hot gusts of air tug at your clothing. So we can jump into the pit, try climb down, or use a grappling hook. Let's examine the pit. The chasm appears to have been dug out with tools rather than being a natural formation. It seems to be very deep, but you cannot see the bottom to gauge the distance. Jumping sounds foolish. Trying to climb down also sounds risky, and we don't have the best athletic skill. Let's use a grappling hook. Take a grappling hook from your pack and tie it off neatly around one of the heavy stone blocks surrounding the pit. A few hard tugs suggest that the rope will hold fast. Keeping a firm hold on the rope, you begin your descent into the darkness. Soon the edge of the pit is far above your head, and you can hear only the creak of the rope and your own breaths. Soon enough, however, you see another source of light, far below, past the dangling end of the rope. You can see a dimly lit room, at the center of which is a circular stone pool. The pool is filled with blood, and even at this distance you can pick out various limbs and mangled bodies, largely Zorip in nature. The tunnel bored into the stone ends a ways above the chamber below, and your rope extends no further. Alright, let's jump into the blood pool. Bracing yourself for the landing, you loosen your hold, dropping down the remaining distance to land within the pool of blood with a noisy splash. The thick, murky waters hinder your swimming, threatening to pull you down into the unseen depths of this grim pit. But at last you crest the surface, and pull yourself up and over the brim, to find yourself at the edge of a reeking, sludgy mixture of blood and limbs.
And what does the flame reveal?
The corpse draped over the edge of the pool is contorted in the throes of what must have been his final agony. Rotting skeletal hands still clutch toward his throat. Limbs and organs bob in this mire of blood and gristle. The carnage stirs with the occasional gust of wind from the tunnel above. So what are we on? We're on level 5. Level 5 does not sound like it's going to be easy. And we have no way of getting back out. We have to fight our way out, and we have no camping supplies. This may have been a not very wise endeavor. Don't quick save, because last time I quick save was up above. Drake, Zorip, Champion, and Skirmisher. Okay. Let's try go this way. Maybe this way we can get out. Expedition log page. This appears to be a page torn from some larger text. Skater did not make it. I know Merrick tried his best. No point in turning back now. That's what Merrick is saying. I think the point is leaving these ruins alive. We've lost half of our people already, and I am not sure how we are meant to survive this place, especially with Skater gone. The gods were kind to let us find that study and the books there. Those tomes would fetch a good price in and of themselves. We don't need to go any further. But that seal has stirred his blood. He's sure we'll find more Ingwithan relics below. Every step takes us further from a guaranteed haul and deeper into unknown territory. I don't know what madness has gripped him. I cannot stop thinking about Adriga, the way she screamed.
Worth a look.
Alright, I don't know if we can get out that way. So it looks like the Zorips feed this big drake thing down here. At the edge of this expansive chamber, encircled by a jabbering host of Zorips, stands a massive reptilian creature. Its snout is spattered with the bloody remnants of a recent meal. gobbets of flesh still speared on crooked fangs. The Zorip shift anxiously, looking up expectantly at the drake as the beast stretches leathery wings in challenge, brushing the pillars to either side. Yes, yes, more sacrifice. It flaps its wings briefly and stirs up great clouds of dust. Come here, human. Be honored. You speak? The drake stamps one clawed foot upon the ground. I speak and stone shakes. I speak and lizards bring gold. I speak and eat well. Yes, I speak. These Zorip sacrifice to you? Are you the master below? Master below is below. Sacrifice is not very smart. You think you see a section of the drake's scaled chest begin to glow orange as it laughs. Master made me lord here. Here I am king. Flames gout from its nostril and gaping jaws. I am god of fire and gold. Well, we are gonna die, and probably have to reload, but... you know, let's just give it a crack. Going for Aloth. I reckon we probably could kill the Drake, but probably need to have pulled back and choke pointed, put a choke point around that door. I don't think there's really any way out either. I think we just reload from the quick save and don't go down the pit there. Yep, I think we maybe just go down the stairs to level 3. And we'll just have a quick, you know, look at level 3.
And what?
Because it might be a bit too difficult for us at this stage. Particularly without a full party.
Worth a look.
Padded armor and a floppy hat. There's a bridge, so we should check down this way. Thulgar. Alright. Don't skulk. Come into the light. Okay. Who are you, Thulgar? Cast in orange hues by the guttering torches, a massive creature sits at the rear of this wide chamber. There is an acrid stench of blood and offal about the room, and a hot, malodorous gust wafts towards you as the ogre rises, stirring up the dust beneath its feet.
If they had only known how many unwitting fools would wander into my camp, I would not have been exiled.
Despite his words, the ogre studies you dispassionately. His pale, grim features are streaked with dried blood.
But then, I think they have lost the taste for human, now that they have feasted on one another for so long.
The ogre turns away.
I will not be fattened for the eating.
I'd say you're more big-boned than fat.
Huh. You are no illusion of mine. I thought perhaps I was imagining that a good meal had come strolling out of the darkness.
He shakes his head.
You should not have come, human. I am Thulgar, once most trusted of Zola's warriors. Once.
The ogre shrugs a shoulder.
It matters not. Go but a little way south, and you'll find what's become of us. Once a dozen strong, and now we are nothing. Our great chief, enraged by voices, and our people driven to devouring one another. And I, the coward, wait here to die alone. Easier said than done.
He gestures to a heap of bones and cloth.
Hunger has a will of its own. Matron Zola knows that well.
Who are you?
I am Thulgar.
Oh, okay, you just told us that. Okay, well, you're all starving. Isn't there something to eat down here?
We have lived many lives for many years. The caverns have changed around us. Many old tunnels have been closed. Perhaps it's the spiders' doing. For a time we feasted on the Zorips and lived well. But the Zorip tribes have become diseased, poisoned. We did not notice at first. Not until we too began to grow weak. Some of us became like feral creatures, maddened by the poison. Matron Zola, strongest of us, she did not go so easily. Her madness came slowly. Some of us went on eating the Zorips, of course, even knowing. There was nothing else. They died painfully, but quickly. Others tried venturing out into the Great Stair, trying to find a way out. Zola forbade us from leaving. In time. If we could not find anything to hunt, then some of us, she said, must sacrifice themselves.
You're cannibals?
Yes, we have come to that. Even I have tasted it. There is no returning from that, I think. I will remember the moment for what remains of my life.
What happened to your leader?
Matron Zola, she was plagued with dreams from the moment we came here. Terrible dreams of something down below. She was convinced we should not go there.
Thulgar lowers his head.
I told her it was nothing, thought nothing of it, until we discovered the poison within the Zorips. It changed her.
Whatever the voice spoke, she grew harder, colder. Perhaps it was enough that the voice was never silent, through all those days and nights. Perhaps the poison made the dreams all the worse. It is harder, perhaps, to see madness in those closest to you, but I should have seen it all the same. Too late for that now. I should put an end to this, Zola.
Yes, if you could do that, then at least we will be free of this madness. Who knows how long we might remain, eating one another, until there is but one of us left. Bring me her talk, and I will know the deed is done, that our clan, at last, is finished. Consider this the final request of a fallen ogre human. Do what I cannot, and I will find some reward worthy of your service.
Kill Zola, the ogre chieftain, and retrieve her ceremonial talk.
Thulgar grunts. Is it done, then?
No, but I've got some questions for you. Thulgar frowns, but nods. Very well. Ask, then. How did you come to be stranded down here?
We were hunting Zorips through the caverns, and isolated them in the caverns above. We thought that would suffice, for a time. And it might have, if the Zorips had not recently grown sick. Now their poison has infected us, and Zola will not let us leave, even if we wish to try.
Do you know anything about a master below?
Thulgar gives you a searching look, frowning. That is what Zola called it. The voice in her dreams. After we came, we began to have terrible visions. We would feel a presence sometimes. I thought it superstition, until I heard it too, and then I thought it an effect of the poisons we were eating.
And now you come seeking it out.
I do not know what this master is. I know only that it was this creature which prevented us from moving deeper into this place. Zola refused to lead us down into the depths. He grunts. Perhaps that is where you will find it. That's all the questions I had. Fulgar nods curtly. Nods curtly, rather, not... Anyway, I don't know what I said. Nods curtly. I'll return shortly.
Margren's fire casts light in dark places.
Ah, camping supplies, cool. That's exactly what we needed. I gave Fulgar an interesting voice. Thought it would be fun. I mean, he had pretty sophisticated dialogue for an ogre, so giving him an intelligent voice seemed to make sense. Alright, ogres. I don't know how we will do against ogres, I have to say. I doubt we can knock them down. Can knock them down. That's interesting. And we can probably paralyze it as well. So they've got 10 damage reduction. Good fortitude. Weak to pierce damage, maybe? Can we knock him down again? These guys are tough.
Aye?
Oh, crap. Another one.
Oh. Alright. Then.
Can I...
How may I help?
Yeah, we'll just do that. Okay, 2 ogres. We get ogre blood. The potent blood of an ogre. It seems darker and thicker than the blood of smaller creatures, though similar in all other respects. Okay, take that.
Sure.
Cool.
Let's see what lies this way.
Let's turn that off. It's another ogre. 3, 4, 5. Wow, okay, that's a lot. Don't think we can take that many. Two, 3. We take 3? Maybe? They are weak to corrode, is it? Is that corrode or poison? I think it's poison, actually. We could try.
Aye?
I think this time, though, we'll use that blessing.
Hey. Hey.
Now 4 ogres now.
dare. You are getting trounced. Let's put pain link on him. Aloth. Can you go there? Good work, Aloth. It's exactly what I did not want you to do. Oh, there goes the dare. He just got crushed to death. Aloth's next, probably. Oh yeah, no, that's not going to work. Alright, I think we have come to the end of our exploration of the endless paths of Odnur, for the moment anyway, until we get our party stronger and get another member in it as well. Unless we can try go this way, just see what's over there. An impressive statue. How old do you think this is? I don't know, but it is cool. Housed within a quiet alcove, this stone figure strides boldly forward, one arm held high. Let's inspect it. Judging by the style of clothing and the cracked remnants of a beard upon the statue, Aloth suspects that this is the Earl of Yenwood. A lauded warrior, he was known to lead his men into battle, wielding a gleaming saber. I see. I have a suspicion.
Nice and quiet.
We have to bring a gleaming saber to that statue. Maybe we can ask Fulgar about it. But yeah, I think we're not going to be able to progress any further for the moment. No questions about the statue. I suspect that broken blade we picked up probably has something to do with it, but who can say? Alright, let's go back to the top. Is that still there? That's Zorik, yeah. So we've cleared level 1 and 2, we're up to level 3, which is ogres. I'll have to maybe read the bestiary to see what ogres are weak to as well. But I think we'll worry about that once we've got a full party. We've definitely jumped the gun. I know some people hire adventurers to fill their party up, but I like having the companions, and to be honest, the challenge has been kind of cool, so.
I trust all is well. Please let me know if there's anything I can do to help.
What's the state of the keep? Ah, where to begin? Let's see here. No events currently pending. Oh, okay. That's finished in a day and 24 hours. Bright Hollow Restoration. If we hit purchase, is that gonna override the one that we've already got going? Yeah, okay, main keeps showing in progress. Okay. I've got some questions, and I will do all in my power to answer. What would you like to know? Was this your keep once?
Not as a land is its lord's, more as a child is its mother's. This castle was my design, you see. The Earl appointed me to do it. I was getting on in years. I knew it would be my only chance to build something magnificent.
Right. Okay, cool.
When it was built, I couldn't bring myself to part from it, to go back to my lonely home. I begged the Earl to let me stay, to take care of it. It was all I wanted, and he granted it. Years later, when Bereth's usher finally came calling, I begged the Earl to find a way to let me remain, and so he did.
You mentioned an Earl before?
The Earl of Yenwood, the original, in fact, when Deerwood was a colony. He found this site, the only ruin Ere Glanfarth refused to defend, and he believed its wealth would be great. The keep was his way of defending his family's claim, and that claim became his obsession. He had to know what lay beneath. He devoted his life to excavating the ruins below the keep. They had been sealed with rock and soil. Deliberately, it would seem. Years passed, and with them the Earl. He dug his entire life and never found what he sought. His obsession became his sons and his sons' sons. And one day, that young Earl broke through.
And he found the endless paths waiting for him. Yes, an endless maze, incomprehensible in its construction, but he would never come to learn more than that. Vile things had taken residence there, vile and dangerous. They poured up through the keep and slew its residents, the Earl among them.
After that, the keep remained abandoned, unused, wasted. Maerwald's mastery of this place was the first hope I'd had in 200 years. How I've longed to see it as it once was. I can only guess why all this has happened. I fear I've wronged the gods putting this place here, and they've doomed me to watch it wear away into dust. To witness my own folly.
Are you imprisoned in that throne?
Imprisoned? At times it feels that way, I suppose. But it's more that I reside here. The throne was brought up from the ruins. One of the first things they found. As a last favor to a dying woman, the Earl arranged for me to be moved into it. Audra is an accommodating vessel for a soul. Oh, it's not as confining as it seems. I can feel the whole keep from here, and all things that are tied to it. There's something about this throne and its construction. Or maybe it's something about this place.
Okay, well, I don't have any more questions. So, farewell.
Laying low.
I guess we have to go back to Gilded Vale, I suppose. So, we can do that. And then we'll probably leave it there. The Barbican is open now as well.
Bit to slick your breeches, scholar lad.
I beg your pardon?
Nothing. I said nothing.
Bit to slick your breeches. Okay. Connor's face flushes, his gold-brown skin going a ruddy shade. Alright,
Yes?
so Aloth and Adair have some stuff to say. Let's speak to Aloth first. Aloth seems lost in thought. He flinches when you draw near, sucking a sharp breath through his teeth.
What can I do for you?
Yeah, are you alright? Or you've been acting strange? Yeah, well, you have been acting strange. What's going on?
A crumbling castle, abandoned memories, and an old man who can no longer tell them from reality. I'd say we've seen some rather strange things.
His lips twitch into a flat smile.
And if Maerwald is to be believed, it would seem you've an uncertain future ahead.
There's no point in speculating now. My situation is more dire than I realized. We've got to find the leaden key and fast. He was out of his mind. I don't place stock in the ramblings of a lunatic. I don't know, like, I'm concerned that that's going to happen to me, but there is no point speculating now. Although I think my situation probably is more dire than I realized, so, yeah.
That does seem like the logical course of action. I shall follow your lead.
He snugs his cloak about his shoulders. Okay, that's fine, but I want to discuss something else. Okay, you don't have anything else to say.
Hey.
What about you, Adair?
That old watcher. I don't know what I expected, but it sure wasn't that.
Shakes his head and chuckles. You said you had some things you wanted to ask him.
Nah, well, it's kind of embarrassing now. I just got a dumb idea in my head is all. Don't know why I thought it'd work. It's funny. That's probably the first thing I got my hopes up for in, I don't know, years. At least I got that out of it.
Well, you were going to ask him in front of me anyway, so you may as well tell me now.
All right. Yes, fair is fair, and you did bring me to see him. Those rumors back in Gilded Vale about my brother, Woden. About how he'd turned against us and fought for Widewind. Been on my mind for some time now. The thing about Woden was, he always knew what was right, and that's what he'd do. One day he set out to fight for Deerwood against a man claiming to be our god. So I knew that's what I had to do too. It was right. And hearing claims that he died fighting for Rey at Saris, that got me worried. Not that he'd chosen the wrong side, but that I had. Didn't seem right what Widewind had in store, but if he really was Aethys...
Adair shakes his head.
I thought, maybe this old Watcher would know how my brother died. So I could see if it was true. Like he could, I don't know, read it in my soul or something. Use our connection. Told you it was dumb.
Why didn't you ask me for help? Guess because I didn't know you. It's hard to trust a stranger that says he's a Watcher.
Of course, I knew the truth deep down. A Watcher's not psychic. I think I just had this idea, and the idea made me feel a certain way, and I didn't want to lose that.
Really, if I wanted to find out about my brother, I shouldn't be starting with watches. I should be starting with records. Yeah, you probably should be prepared that there may be no record of your brother's death. Wouldn't be any worse off then, would I? Adair thinks a moment, his lips twisted to one side. He raises his eyebrows. Yeah, if there was anything written down about it, they'd have it in Defiance Bay. They got an archive at the palace.
You've done a lot for me already, but if you could see fit to pay that archive a visit with me, well, you know. Knowing my luck, the records clerk will go crazy and try to kill me. I'd feel better with you in there with me.
Sure. It's no problem. We will go to Defiance Bay. I think first, though, we probably do need to... Wait, we probably could have gotten to Defiance Bay from Madmer Bridge, unless it's destroyed or something. Maybe it is, maybe that's why you need to go around. I don't know. Let's go back to Gilded Vale, though. It's going to take a day. And that'll mean our keep might almost be done. Almost. "24 hours, yeah.
Well met, friend.
Let's rest here. Yeah.
Gods keep you.
And let's buy... You have supplies? Yes. Just need one. So what next? We've got to go to Defiance Bay. And we have to confront Lord Redrick. Anslog's Compass we have to do. Travel with the Dead to the Records Archive. Find more pieces of the ancient sword. Save there. Maybe let's go to Mardmer Bridge. I just want to see what's there. Because maybe we can't get to Defiance Bay that way. There you go, main keep construction is finished, so we can start the Bright Hollow restoration. It'll give us a place to rest. Alright. Well, we might leave it there, and we will explore Maerwald Bridge in the next episode. Thank you for joining me. Don't forget to like and subscribe, leave your comments, and I'll see you next time. Take care.